Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone out there. Hope you're enjoying this special time of year. But I know one way that this time of year could be even more special, and that was if the Toronto Raptors were playing on Christmas Day. This video is going to break down why it's absolutely absurd that the Toronto Raptors have not played on Christmas Day since the outstanding turnaround they've had as a franchise after trading Rudy Gay in the 2013-2014 season. So let's get right into the analysis. As you can see on the screen, there's a huge list of teams that have played on Christmas Day since 2013. And I'm going to make the argument for why, besides the upper tier teams like the Cavs, the Warriors, the Spurs, and a few select others, that the Raptors are more deserving to play on the biggest stage of the NBA's regular season than some of these other teams. So let's just look at the records for the Toronto Raptors over the past 5 seasons against these other teams that have gotten the opportunity to play in these Christmas games. So if you look at the Toronto Raptors play since the 2013-2014 season, which also includes up until this Christmas Day, you can see the Raptors went 227 for 132. So Toronto won about 63% of their games over this long stretch, this huge sample size. When you compare that to teams like Boston, Washington, Miami, and Chicago, Toronto has had a better record than all 4 of these teams over the past 5 seasons, 4.5 seasons, because we're not done with 2017-2018. But Boston, Washington, and Miami each have had 2 games, 2 Christmas games over this stretch of time, and the Bulls have even had 3. So it doesn't make sense to me why the league, wanting to put the best product of basketball on such an important day for the NBA, they wouldn't give the Raptors at least an opportunity over this long stretch of time to play on this stage and show off this team that is constantly ignored by the American national media. And staying on the topic of providing a better basketball product on Christmas Day, the league has been trying to promote younger teams. The unproven Pelicans had a game in 2015. The young Timberwolves had one last season. Now they've gotten a lot better this year, so I guess their Christmas game this season is somewhat merited. And the Sixers are having one today on this Christmas Day. And it's really cool that the league is promoting these young players. But I don't know the result of today's game, the Sixers playing the Knicks, coming into the game 14-18. But when the T-Wolves and the Pelicans played, the Pelicans got smoked by the Miami Heat. Like, they only lost by, I believe, 6, but the whole, it wasn't a good game to watch. And the Timberwolves were just killed by the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, it's cool to be able to see these players, but it doesn't provide the best action for people to watch. It's not going to create competitive games. And in the case of the Toronto Raptors, they have 2 very marketable all-stars. Maybe not superstars like LeBron James or Kevin Durant, but certainly above the tier of a Ben Simmons or a Andrew Wiggins. DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry are very good players, and if the league promoted them as they do these different young players, they will be just as universally recognized as these other guys, as they have the same amount of talent, and they play on a better team. So not only would the league be promoting other superstars, even though they aren't, young, shining prospects, they are still great players, and they'll provide a better brand of basketball. So I believe the Raptors would be a better team to promote on these Christmas Day games. Then there's the other side of things. The New York Knicks, the LA Lakers, these big market teams that have been absolute garbage for the past 4 to 5 seasons. Ever since Kobe left the Lakers, they've been abysmal, and the Knicks have been trash for God knows how long. So these teams continuously get Christmas Day games, and it makes sense. They're huge markets. They're going to draw a huge crowd. They have huge fan support, right? There's just the sheer number of people that want to watch these teams play. It's reasonable for them to get this attention, right? But because these are big cities, right, they have this huge following. But this is the case for the Toronto Raptors too. Mexico City is the largest city in North America, which doesn't have an NBA team. This is followed by New York and then Los Angeles. And 4th is Toronto, the home of the Toronto Raptors. They have the 4th largest population in North America and the 7th largest when you take into account city's full metropolitan area. But Toronto's a huge market as well. So not only is the league missing out on a great brand of basketball, superstars that they can market to the league in a broad way, but there's a huge market of fans. There's a bunch of people that want to watch the Raptors play. The Toronto Raptors are some of the best fan support in the NBA. They're a franchise that continuously makes money as, their home crowd is always sold out. They get so many people tuning into their games. People want to see the Raptors play in this game. And, they might not be recognized in the American media and, mainstream America, but there's so many people that want to watch the Raptors. They have a whole country behind them. And to just ignore that for such a long stretch of time just doesn't make sense. And if the league were to shine more light on this team, they would gain more fan support south of the border. People want to support good teams. It's just how the NBA works. The fans want to root for teams that they can have fun watching, have fun cheering for. So the Raptors would gain more of a following. They would gain more fans. And that's what the league's all about. They want to get people supporting different teams. They want to promote the best competition. And I don't understand why this is somehow ignored for the Toronto Raptors just because they play in Canada or they aren't fun to watch. Like, the Spurs aren't fun to watch, but they get 4 games. They've had 4 games over this stretch of time. And could have at least seen the Toronto Raptors get at least one, see how they perform, see how they did. The Raptors have 2 marketable stars. They've been one of the best teams in the NBA over this past 4 or 5 years. And they have such a huge fan support. They're a huge population. It doesn't make sense why the Toronto Raptors haven't gotten a Christmas Day game. So Adam Silver, my Christmas wish this year is that next season you grant the Toronto Raptors the opportunity to play on Christmas Day and show how great of a team that they are, that this franchise is built over this long stretch of time.